Hello and welcome to the incredibly influential and highly successful podcast. My name is Kale. I am incredibly influential.
My name's Danny, and I'm highly successful.
And my name is Gunfather, special guest for today. I'm sure that you've heard of me, at least some. I would like to think that I am very successful and influential. My circumstances, not so much.
I mean, are you incredibly influential and or highly successful?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Okay. Would you say you're more successful or influential? That's the real question.
Probably more successful. Very influential within the people that are in my life, though.
I
Yeah,
mean,
she's very influential. I'll tell you personally, very influential.
how much has this person influenced you, Danny?
Well, we've had a lot of influence tonight.
One might even say you're under the influence, perhaps.
Perhaps, yeah. We did have some sangria over dinner. I had 2 tequila shots. Danny's had 3.
Danny is a bit of an
Um,
alcoholic.
oh,
That's
okay, her.
not even remotely true.
Danny is a little bit of an alcoholic. He is.
That
Perhaps you're just a buzzkill.
that bottle of tequila has been in my fridge since Christmas, and I still haven't finished it. So obviously, I'm not a very good alcoholic.
Danny,
If
you wouldn't
so,
drink it because it's not Fireball. I know you're poison, you little bitch.
I just,
Don't
I
fuck
just,
me.
I
Don't
drink
you ever fuck
socially,
me, Danny.
and nobody wants to drink, that often. So like, I gotta save it all for like the nights
Uh
like
huh.
this where
Uh
everybody's
huh.
in a
Sure.
drinking mood.
Sure. Well, Gunfather, I think you need to understand. Um. I'm not a buzzkill. I was an alcoholic long before Danny was. He just takes after me because, say it with me now, I am incredibly influential.
I'm
So
not an alcoholic.
all right, Danny. You don't need to flatter yourself, okay? We all know. We all
Hmm.
know the real truth.
Okay. I mean, from experience, I would say, I did walk into this place today with at least, I think, like 6 or 7 bottles of alcohol. Um,
And how
so
many do
I
you
don't know
have
what that says
left?
about me.
We
We've been taste testing, really.
so like it's really just been 4 of us drinking. Dylan and Monica, they're not drinking with us right now. So
Who is the
like
other two people? Are you seeing double?
uh
So like you see yourself and Gunfather in the mirror, and now you're like now and you're seeing double. So you're like, oh, it's just us four.
I imagine. I would love to be seeing imaginary people at this time.
Well, no, it's we have Andreas joining us here, and we also have my cousin's girlfriend, which I've mentioned a few times
Oh yeah, the
before.
one you're
She's hanging
trying
out
to
with us.
steal. Yeah.
That's not true. That's not it.
So he is
No.
trying. Gunfather, has he told you that
Oh
he's
my
he's trying to
god.
steal his cousin's girlfriend? It's kind
I'm
of
I'm
crazy.
actually like not convinced that that's the case, unfortunately.
yeah.
I
That's
think you gotta. I think you
I
gotta
think
get.
he'd be more likely to be stuck on like exes or so on than to
I
be
know
going
one ex
after
that
his
he's
cousin's
definitely not stuck
girlfriend.
on. I know one ex who he's definitely not stuck on.
yeah. Everybody likes to. Let's not do this right now. This is
Why
not where I
why are
want
you
this to
trying to
go.
shift the spotlight, Danny? Why are you trying to shift the spotlight? I haven't
Like
had
how
I haven't had a fucking double team on you since Dylan came on. And
So
even
you're interested
then,
in double teaming. That's crazy.
yeah, specifically Danny because he's a twink. Yeah, get with
I'm
it. Get with the program.
I'm
Oh my god, we were talking about this today. So, my brother's in town, and I was talking about I didn't have my pineapple shirt, right? I have my pineapple shorts, but I didn't bring my
Your
pineapple
swingers
shirt.
costume.
yes.
And
Yes.
yeah, swingers, yeah. And so I was like, and so he was like, yeah, you're, the pineapple is like a sign for swingers on a cruise, and I was
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, I want to, and like, so maybe we would get a third. Me and Danny would get a third so that we can double team him because he is
He
in fact a twink.
he sounds incredibly interested in this concept, clearly. Also, the upside down pineapple thing, works not only on cruises, but in general life. There are whole entire communities within Florida that just like this is their thing among their neighborhoods, among their communities. So I imagine that if you happen to come across many Floridians on your future cruise,
I'm literally
that
in
perhaps you
Florida
have
right
a high
now.
chance. Oh, you're in Florida right now. Okay,
Yeah.
then you just
All
need
my
to find
pineapples
one
are
of
right
those
side up though.
neighborhoods.
All these on these shorts, all the pineapples are right side up, so I should be.
That's unfortunate. So I guess you're losing.
I mean, I don't really want to sleep with a married couple.
But you could try.
I
You could
could try.
That would be very influential and successful of you
I
to manage to
mean,
get into someone else's married relationship,
What an influential thing
I
for
to
you
mean,
to
break
do.
their
I,
vows to be with you.
I will say, how long ago was early September? Was that
A long
5
time ago.
months plus 3 more? It's
About
been
about 8.
yeah,
I
so
will
it's been over
say
8 months. I'll say I did sort of. Can I tell this story? I want to tell this story so bad. Okay, I'm
I
gonna
don't
tell the
care. Tell
story.
the story. Yeah, go for it.
I'm gonna tell this story because I'm a dirty dog. I'm a dirty dog, unintentionally, but I'm a dirty dog.
Yeah, use real names too, please.
I will absolutely. So, um, Schmingle was this woman that I found on campus. Schmingle, yes. Would you like that spelled?
Yeah, sure. Why
So
not?
Schmingle, Schmingle.
Do you know like the alphabet to use, like Charlie, Bravo?
Oh
Could
yes,
you do it
sorry,
that way
sorry.
also?
Sierra, Charlie, Hotel, India, Mike, India again, November, Golf, Lima, Echo. God damn, how did I get all those off the top of my head? I'm a
I
fucking
do think you
badass.
misspelled within there, but continue on
Oh
with
no,
the story.
Schmingle. Schmingle, Schmingle.
So is there an I before the M and then another
Oh,
I?
maybe I did misspell a little bit.
Yeah, so I think with your
Maybe it
yeah,
is
you might have fucked it
Shumingle.
up a
Sorry,
little,
maybe
but
it's
that's okay.
Shumingle. Hang on, maybe it's Shumingle. I've changed my mind. Now it's Shumingle. So Shumingle is this woman who I met on campus. Um we hit it off on Snapchat. We were
This
like
one does.
she were like a quick ad thing, and because I have a lot of like friends from the university, we got to talking, and
This is whorish behavior, actually. Continue.
I hey, shut up. Don't worry about it. I'm the good guy in this situation. I'm the good guy in this situation. Okay? Just let me
Okay.
get there. Let me fucking get there. So, Shemingle and I, we this is very early on in the fall 2024 semester. So early September last year. We are talking um she comes over to my place. Things happen. In the morning, I take her for breakfast. And like take her back to her dorm, and I take her out for breakfast because I'm a fucking gentleman and a
Uh-huh.
scholar. Um,
How long were you guys talking before it got to the come over to my place, let's do the thing?
not very long.
But like I would like an estimated time
The night
frame.
before, pretty much. I'm pretty
Okay,
sure.
well the quickest I've done is like 7 hours, like 7 hour turnaround.
That's the turn.
Damn. Have I done that before? Maybe. I would have to go back through my fucking the log books and see and see.
See, but and I was pulling this off over like Tinder and iMessage, not even Snapchat.
I
like-
mean, Snapchat's a fucking. I've had some
It's a
success on the
wasteland,
Tinder.
actually.
Yeah, Snapchat is a fucking wasteland. So, but
Okay.
anyhow, during breakfast, Shamingle tells me that she has a boyfriend, but she says he's cool with it. You know, we're long distance, so we kind of opened up the relationship. So I'm like, all right, cool. I had 4-day weekends last semester. Or I guess 2 semesters ago now. So we hooked up Thursday night, Friday morning, and then Friday night she came over. She didn't leave until Monday.
Okay.
And then on Monday
Seems like she was just desperate for company.
and then on Monday she tells me, "Oh, by the way, we didn't actually open up the relationship. I was just cheating on him." And so I was like, "Damn, that sucks." But
She
like,
really set you up for that. But I mean, is it really your fault or your business? I'm not sure.
yeah, I mean, it was just a shame because like on Thursday, you know, when we hooked up, before I knew that she was seeing someone. I liked her. I thought we had some great chemistry. Um, she was pretty. She was really sweet. She was a nice gal. And then,
You should have just kept on going. You should have just been the other woman.
I tried, but she womaned up, I guess. Told her boyfriend, and yeah, and so that was sad, but yeah, we
Did
had
you get involved in this in any way? Like, did you get any
no,
like threatening messages?
no,
Anything? Because I always think that's such a funny case. Like, whenever someone cheats on their partner and then it somehow becomes about the person who they cheated with, rather than the
yeah,
fact that they cheated in the first place, and so therefore,
yeah.
like, it's not really the person who they cheated with's fault.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're
Um,
speaking from experience. Have you been the other woman?
no, I have not thankfully been the other woman. I've avoided having really problematic dating or hooking up experiences of any sort. Um, blissfully, still have their own problems, of course.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean,
but
almost all men in this fucking generation do, dude. We're
yeah,
fucked.
I have yet to get like to be cheated on or to be the person cheated with.
That's lucky.
I don't
I
know.
I
I think
had
it's just because
both
I'm
in 2024. I had both of those, so that sucked.
yeah. No, I thankfully am a very like open and honest person, and all my situations have generally been pretty open and honest. I think one time I was like in a friends with benefits like situation, and I decided to start seeing another guy while I was like actively in
Hooking
a
up with a person.
situation with him. But it had never really been like a big deal. Like I told him like I didn't want him hooking up with other people, but I knew that he was, and so like I was just like, you know what? If he's doing it, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
And then he learned. He was like, I told him about it, and he was like, well, who was it? And then I told him, he was like, oh my god, I fucking hate that guy. And I was like, I didn't even know that you knew him. And he was like, no, he like, I just do not like him. Like, you literally could have chosen anyone but him. And I was like, and he was like, you should have told me beforehand so I could have told you not to. And I was like, well, I don't know what to tell you. That's unfortunate. I already did it. And he was like, okay, fine, whatever. And then we still kept on hooking up, and I did not continue to hook up with the guy that he didn't like. Mainly because I just did not have a good time with said guy. Like, it was not a very impressive situation. Um, but
I
because
love
I
how
worked with
Danny's
that
just
guy.
sitting here listening to this because he cannot relate at all. Bro gets
I
no play.
I
No
like
play.
I personally
He wants
haven't
something real.
I have enjoyed my few like long committed relationships. At least, for a majority of it. Like, I will say towards the end of them, they're not great, but
Mm-hmm.
Thus is
I would say,
usually
like,
what happens.
yeah, but like, I would say, like, just, having some, like, one person that, you could just be really close with.
I
It, it's
agree.
it's a little bit nicer, it's the, more of an emotional connection.
No, I'm very pro this idea. I'm
Yeah.
very even in like my friends with benefits situation, I usually try and keep them like an intimate, close connection. Like we're almost friends. Trey, you know about this about me.
Yeah, of course.
I'm just one of
How
those
does he know
people.
that about you?
Well, she
Um,
she talks to us sometimes.
yeah, because I was previously in a situation where that was kind of the case. And I just like to be very close friends with them and like develop a relationship and stay mostly exclusive. Um, and I just think it's better that way. You get to know each other as people. You get to actually like enjoy each other. Um, so I don't think there's any harm or foul in sitting there just dedicating to a person.
I guess. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, whatever. Whatever floats your
Uh,
boat, I guess. I don't
I'm
know.
certainly not just finding them off of Snapchat quick ads.
I will
Hey, I
say, like,
mean, if it
I
works,
I
it works.
commend
You tell me, Danny.
I commend the people that are able to, have, like, flings and all that, and, like, not have to, like, have that emotional connection to, like, I guess, like, to just have all that sort of have all those experiences, right?
Danny, are you
But for
okay
me,
if
I
I
feel
kick
like
you out of the room during the cruise?
uh
Are you okay with that?
Oh Lord, let's hope not.
well, like
We-
you
Are
can
you
go
gonna
to
be like fucking with the swinging of the waves?
well, like
It's actually
why
not
can't
that noticeable on modern cruise ships. My parents have been on this ship
Oh, wait, I'm
before
sorry.
in like different
yeah.
places. It's really not that noticeable anymore.
So you want to fuck on the same ship that your parents have fucked on?
Could you go to their room maybe?
No, I'm kicking you out, Danny. I'm sorry.
But
Are you
like,
gonna go to the parents' room
could I
then?
could I get my stuff at least?
No.
I
You have
want to
to
like
sit
get
outside the door and listen.
Like a puppy?
like I can get my laptop and I can
Yes.
move somewhere else and I can like watch my favorite episode of Black Mirror or something,
No,
while I
you
wait.
need to sit outside and listen, and then maybe that'll convince you to get your own bitches.
Like I was saying before you interrupted me, I commend the people that are able to have like those sort of like I guess like one night stand or like flings or all that without the emotional connection. But I feel like for me they're very like intertwined.
Danny's
Have
trying to
you
find his
tried to have a one
wifey.
night stand, Danny?
Uh I just don't feel like it would work for me. Like
So you haven't tried it.
not extensively, no.
I tried it and it hasn't gone well. Don't feel bad.
But like thinking
I'm
about
just saying.
it doesn't sound like an appealing idea, which is why like for me it doesn't sound like an appealing idea. Like it's weird because the idea of being with somebody and like it being like a temporary one night thing, it sounds great in theory, but like whenever you actually think about it, like to me it's not appealing.
I think that's
Yeah.
cope.
He's
I
trying to
think
find
that's
his
cope.
wifey.
I believe that is copium. I'm gonna be honest.
I mean, to be fair, I also think that you exist in a world where perhaps you like overestimate your pull. Like where you're like, I'm gonna find someone on the cruise and I'm gonna kick you out of the room and blah blah blah. Blah.
I'm
Yeah.
just
Like,
saying
do you
in the
really?
hypothetical situation where that happens.
Are you like packing a whole box of condoms in preparation? Like, is that?
I don't know if I have room. They'll probably have condoms on the boat. It's a fucking cruise ship. Of course they've got to have condoms.
Like you're gonna go to the health clinic on the cruise ship and be like, "Hey,
There's a convenience store, probably.
Yeah.
convenience."
Yeah.
I mean, I've been in a cruise before. I have not walked into a convenience store
Well,
on a cruise ship.
I've not been on a cruise,
I
so I'm just
if they have like
guessing.
500,000 eggs and go through that on a single voyage, I guarantee you they have to have some fucking condoms because they don't want to like. I feel like that's how you get sued. Honestly, I feel like
By accidentally being impregnated by not having access, that's a you issue. That is not
How
like
is-
a business.
I'm sure it
issue.
is,
How is
but
the cruise taking
given-
liability for that at all?
given that corporate lawyers are very very expensive, I feel like just avoiding the issue by just having condoms on board, and then I feel like that creates an atmosphere where people want to return because they're like, hey, they have condoms, they know what's up, right?
What
I
if
feel
the
like
ones
that's a good
available
marketing
don't
strategy.
fit?
I mean, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, okay? But I'm just saying, hypothetically, Danny, if I pull and you don't, what happens?
Maybe this is where you'll finally have your meet cute on an Alaskan cruise.
Let me-
Wouldn't that be
Maybe.
entertaining?
It would be a bit long
I've seen people
distance
do that.
unless they're conveniently from
No,
Houston.
I had a friend who actually went on a cruise
I-
and she found this guy, and then they learned that they actually lived in the same place and they continued their relationship
that's-
back in the same place and got married.
That is
Now
a
they're
great
divorced,
idea.
but they did.
Hey, it was
A
almost
wonderful
perfect. It was
child.
almost nice.
A wonderful child came out of it, cutest kid. And now they're stuck together forever and hate each other.
Oh my god, what a cute story! That could be me.
It's okay.
Seriously.
Danny's not into normal sex. He likes getting pegged, and I don't think he's gonna get pregnant from that. So
I've actually heard that there have been some great reviews on your performance. Not to make you feel embarrassed, but I've been told apparently that you rock people's world. So I think that he's getting on your ass for no reason, and you should not have any
I-
questions.
Oh, I'm
I
not
would say
getting on
who
his
you
ass.
been-
The women he sleeps with get on his ass. Get it right.
I want to ask you who you've been talking to, but I don't. I've only been with 2 people, so
Exactly. So like
It's
one
not a lot
can
of people
assume who
you
I
could
might be.
talk to.
But like I didn't talk to her directly, but like I've heard through the grapevine type of thing. You know what I mean?
Well, remember, Chinese
So-
Whispers does often exaggerate things.
No,
keep
I
that in
don't think
mind.
I don't think the sources that I'm getting these from would be exaggerating.
I don't know. I feel like rumors often grow.
You know, it's so hard to like get an honest review from people. They're always so worried about your feelings. You know,
That
Well,
is
one
true.
time, let me
That
tell
is
you.
true.
You know the one guy that I had just mentioned
Mhm.
that I was with, the one guy was like, "Oh, why'd you have to choose him?" The
Yeah.
reason why it was bad is because like we hooked up, whatever. It was not an enjoyable experience. I think that he promised a performance and he overpromised basically.
Yeah.
And so then afterwards he went, "So how was that?" And I went, "It was bad. Like it was not good." And he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry." And I was like, "Yeah, you won't be getting another chance, but I appreciate this try." And
Mhm.
then it was also my birthday.
Ooh,
And so,
yeah.
but I didn't really have any hard feelings about it because instead what I did was like, "Okay, so you're going to help me get dressed and then you're going to help lotion me up so I don't have to lean over, and then you're going to put my shoes on for me and you're going to tie them for me, and then I'm going to walk you to your car and you're going to leave and I'm going to go to dinner."
Mhm.
And so I go and he does all that for me, to make up for the fact that he failed, knowing fully well that the reason why he is having to do this is because he failed.
Uh-huh.
And then I walk into his car and he went, "So do you want to do it again?"
Uh-huh.
And I said, "Well, that wasn't a great performance in the first place, but maybe I'll consider if you can, do better." And then I never did.
Mhm.
I feel
But
like
I
that
give
was a.
honest reviews.
I feel like that was
I
a.
will say, I commend you for like for giving an honest review. Oh wait, don't say anything. She lost the headset. You
Oh
never say it.
Jesus.
Okay. So like yeah, I commend you for like giving an honest review and all that. I will say, like it is a lot easier whenever you are in a committed relationship because you have a little bit more of an open line of
rapport.
communication. Exactly right. Like you kind of you can talk about anything with these people, right?
See, I would say it's harder
Which is-
because like
which
you
is
don't want to
right.
hurt your
No.
partner's feelings.
No,
You know?
because instead you just put it in a way where you're not hurting their feelings. You're just like, I didn't really like. I remember whenever I was in like a committed relationship for like 3 years, after like every single time that we would like hook up or do something, we would do this thing where we'd lay in bed and we'd talk about what we really liked,
Mhm.
or what we wish we would have done more of, or maybe what didn't work.
Mhm.
And we would, after like every time that we would hook up, like if it was like a good one, if it wasn't like just a quickie, we would give each other performance reviews basically.
Yeah.
After every time, so we would slowly learn what each other really liked and what we both really wanted and what didn't work. And it was just like a debrief after every time. And then it like by the end of that relationship, I didn't want to end it because we had such a good sexual relationship.
That's
Like I
a
was like, I
very
don't know if I'll
business
ever
major
have this
way of.
again.
That's
No,
a very
but, like-
business major way of looking at that.
I wasn't a business
It-
major and he wasn't either.
It's really good like to have like an open line of communication. Like I feel like people get way too offended sometimes, or like are quick to like assume that other people will get offended. Like it's
Mhm.
it's so much easier and it's always better if you can have that communication, because then
It makes everything you do together better. Whenever
Yeah.
you know how you feel about like things. Whenever like whenever you can just be like, I really like when you do this thing. Or if maybe you just did it this way, it would feel even better. Or whatever. Like it also depends on how you say it too.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say my point about it was like with a partner, you kind of have to soften the blow or you have to like reframe it. But like with a hookup, you can kind of just do what Gunfather did and just be like, yeah, no, that was kind of bad. Sorry, you know.
Well, yeah, if you're not gonna, get with them again, or there's a very low likelihood of you getting with them
Mhm.
again, there's a lot lower stakes if you
Yeah.
if you hurt their feelings, right? But
Yeah,
if you're in a relationship and like you like this person for other reasons besides just like the intimacy, right? You try to like be as nice about it as possible while also getting your point across, right?
Yeah.
But I
As
feel
long
like
as you get your point across, that's what really matters.
in losing in uh in gaining one, you lose the other. I feel like
No. You just haven't
I
been in a fulfilling
I think
relationship
that like
before, I
it's
think.
it's very possible to be in a relationship where like y'all are just perfectly comfortable with each other, because I feel like a lot of like early relationships maybe like do have like that period where they're like, oh well, I don't want to
I
say or do the wrong
guess
thing, you
I
know.
don't
But like
know.
after a while, you get comfortable enough with somebody, like it doesn't matter.
When I say I'm a serial monogamist, I mean serial. I mean like I'm putting up fucking Ted Bundy numbers, right? I'm putting up no, fuck Ted Bundy numbers. I'm putting up like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar numbers,
I'm
right?
sorry. You're a serial monogamist, but you're putting up crazy numbers.
I don't think he knows what
I don't think
monogamy
you know
is.
what that means.
No, but when I say serial, I mean serial. Like I'm
But like a serial monogamist usually implies that you're with the same person for X amount of time.
I try
But
to
like
be. It's
serial
never
as in
my
multiple
fault.
times. It's
It's
never
never
your fault. That's it. I feel like I would like to state that with what I can tell of your education background, perhaps you should have a little bit of more of like a self-reflecting background.
Oh, let me tell you, like
I mean there's some
both of y'all,
where
both of y'all
it
having the
has
same
been
background
like
makes it so much better too.
it I mean there has been some where I've like contributed, but like there are I think the majority of it is not things that I've done, but rather the people that I've chosen. So I think that like in the sense that like was there an action that I did that ruined it? No, other than choosing to get into the relationship to begin with.
You know, I do think that, you know, that does bring up a good point. Like I do have a few friends of mine where they always say they want to be in a relationship with somebody, but they always
Hmm.
choose the worst people to pursue, the people that aren't gonna like reciprocate.
This is true. It's a
And
bad
Yeah.
habit.
and then it's like one of those things where it's like you just it's they're kind of the problem at that point, you know, like they're
They've got some wounds and inner issues to work out, I
yeah,
think, in that
exactly,
case.
right.
Attachment
Yeah.
issues, so on.
They always choose
People
the bad ones for
they're
them.
like it's the anxious baddies always going after the avoidant kings.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
that's
feel
really how
like
it
you're
goes.
speaking from experience again.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I am an anxious baddie who loves an avoidant king. But
Yeah,
that's like
exactly.
something that I recognize as a person. Like I'm
Yeah.
like, I do in fact love that you are so distant.
I see
It
that's
reminds you
like
of your
that's
father
something.
subconsciously. Yes.
No, no. It's not the father issue. It's the mommy issues stem deeper, I think. Cuz my mom is so lovely, but she's just so she's like, like a cat, a really anxious cat
Oh,
who
nice
does
and
not want to
aloof.
be
Yeah.
around people. Yeah. We're like but then she'll be so loving and then she'll be so like spooked, you know?
I think I might have mentioned it to you as well, Nick, whenever I was telling you the original story of
Oh
of,
yeah.
of, of
Fuck. We've
grandfather
been
here.
almost. Shut up. Shut up. We've been almost 30 fucking minutes and we haven't talked about the story once. Fuck. Son of a bitch.
Yeah. It
All
So
right.
suddenly became a love column, and I'd be so down for a love column.
I love cop.
I feel like the love column should not include Danny because even though Danny has had
No,
I
he's an idealist. We need
I
him. He reminds me that true love and meet cutes and all these things do matter.
yeah,
they
they
don't they
matter.
don't
They
as a
matter so
psychologist they
much.
don't. It's all
No,
about
no,
fucking
no.
settling.
It's all
It's all about
perception.
settling.
It's all perception in the first place, and it is just about settling. Yes, there is the taxi cab theory, so on, about how whenever someone just decides that they're ready, they're ready. It doesn't even matter who they are; they'll just make it work.
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
there is a
and they'll
level
just
of like,
self-delude themselves. Yeah.
yeah, but like that's okay too, you know. But it is important to go through a stage in life where you are a romantic, that you are an idealist. I
Yeah,
don't think
I
there's anything wrong with that because positive and optimistic people tend to have higher outcomes in life in general.
I guess they do, but they also I don't know. I feel like hope is faith's richer, bitchier sister. You know, hope is disappointment in advance. You know what I mean? Danny understands what I'm talking about.
I
Such a cynic.
I will say, like it's tough out here sometimes, but like, I feel like it gives me something to like look forward to, right? Is like the
Exactly.
idea of like when it does happen, right? And obviously I'm not too unrealistic to know that it's not going to be perfect
Yes.
and like the movies and this and that.
But sometimes it is. I'll give you that. Sometimes
it is. But like
The
it's
odds of
very
that
few and far
happening
between.
are.
Don't be
I
such
mean,
a
if you
cynic.
It's very few and far
but
between.
if you
But like
look at it on a bell curve, right? The best
I know.
relationships are also like
Are incredibly average.
1,000, 10,000 to 1, right? Like the odds of them happening are 10,000 to 1,
but
right?
why can't that be me though? You
No,
know
but
what
here's
I mean?
the
That's
thing.
what I'm saying.
Here's the thing. Eventually, everyone reaches a point. Let's actually move away from the love column because I'm realizing that we're at 30 minutes and we have a drunk crowd waiting for us.
Oh.
I'll give you 10 more minutes of my time to discuss the Gunfather background.
Let's do it. Let's move in, and then we can bring the love column back up tomorrow. Cause I'm into this now. I'm fucking into this. This shit is actually kind of gas. This shit is actually
Two
hype city.
psychologists, one very positive, one very much a cynic, going at Danny.
Yeah, he is getting tag teamed.
How terrifying it must be to be in a call with two psych majors.
Oh, this is great. This is wonderful.
And my
I'm
mom's
having
a
a good time.
therapist too. My mom's a therapist.
Yeah,
We
no,
literally
it's
advertise my
horrible.
mom's business. She's a therapist. So in 10 minutes, they're gonna hear all about her shit. Oh man, that's
Okay.
It's
great.
the ad break.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's beautiful.
It's great,
I don't
you
think I've ever listened to the ad break.
And look, and I'm gonna go on the cruise, and there's gonna be a psychologist, a therapist, and I'm sure that his other family members have other, credentials that are interesting.
Don't worry, I'll be getting my future credentials soon. Once I start my master's program in like in a year or two.
I'm so
You
excited.
really taking that long off? Anywho, we're getting sidetracked. We're getting fucking
I
sidetracked.
am, yes. I'm
We
getting
need
paid
to
big
hear
money as an
this.
analyst.
We need to hear this story because it was really fucking funny when Danny said it, and I want to hear what it's like from your perspective. I feel like this is
Okay.
the funniest perspective to hear from, other than maybe your mom or maybe your dad.
Oh Lord. So
But,
okay.
yeah.
Do you have any do you want to hear the story from the beginning? Do you want to hear like specific questions being answered?
The floor is yours. I reserve the right to ask questions if they're particularly egregious.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So basically, what had happened is that I invited Andreas to come over to my place to eat leftovers after Easter, I believe. Maybe it wasn't after Easter. It was like it was after my dad's birthday.
That's what it was.
It was after my dad's birthday that had been celebrated earlier that day. And I invited Andreas initially, and then he came, but then Trey was like, "Oh, I want to come too." And so Trey comes with me. Andreas and Trey go in a separate car. I go in my car. We pull up to my house. Both my parents are awake. My mom's downstairs. I didn't tell them beforehand that they were coming over. I live at home with my parents currently because I have very young siblings that I didn't really get to spend much time with while I was in college. And they're both got some disabilities. And so not only are they young, but also they're kind of more whatever. And so I just feel like it's important for me to develop close relationships with them and be intentional about it. And so that's why I'm even living at home in the first place. And so we get to my house. I didn't tell them beforehand that anyone was coming over because, I really never have had to do that in my life. That was never really an issue. We start pulling out the food, making our plates, whatever. And then my mom calls me over, right as they just finished making their plates. And she's, showing me these texts from my dad where he's being like, why are these people over? So on. I'm going to cause a fit. And my mom's like, I don't know why you're complaining. All is well. Be chill. And it's a whole entire thing. And so I warn them as we're sitting down, we need to make this quick because, my dad's saying he's going to cause a fit. And, I don't want to make you sit through that awkwardness in life because it is kind of awkward to encounter. Some of my friends have, but, in a very casual way where like he just likes to yell and be annoying. And like that's fine. And not even at the people who are there. Just like start arguing with my mom or me. He's not texting me at all throughout this. He's only texting my mom about the people that I've invited over, which I think is so funny. And because like the issue you have is with me, homeboy. He doesn't once tell me himself that he wants them to leave. He doesn't tell me that like what's gonna happen. None of that. And so we're all sitting down. Trey is working on his homework, and I've warned them like but we got to get done with this quick. And so I'm assuming that like they'll be done by the time that he would even come down and cause a fit, and that maybe he would start an argument once they left with me and my mom. And we have no issue with that. We can stand our ground. We don't give a fuck. Um,
It's Texas.
and
It's a stand your ground state. You know, you're.
yes,
Ironically, you may have gotten that from him, actually.
yeah. And so, but the important thing to mention here is that my mom is sitting at the table with us. Like, she is fully happy to have my friends there. She loves being a host. She loves whenever I invite my friends over. Like, and having friends over has never really been like an issue to that extent. Like, maybe it's been whenever I've had my friends over a bunch, my dad will be like, oh my God, like, your friends are mooching off me, whatever. Which I remember one time my dad called my friends moochers and that they wouldn't be allowed to come over anymore. And I literally packed my stuff, walked out the door, and went to go stay at their place for 2 days. Because I was like, oh, they're moochers? Okay, bye.
Could I ask a question, right?
Yeah.
So, did me and Andreas, did we just come off as particularly like intimidating compared to like other friends you brought over?
I have a feeling that it may be because I know that you consider yourself white, but because predominantly my friends who have come over have like that often or like without announcement have usually been white.
Mm-hmm.
And they've usually either been female or it's been a mix of female and male.
Mm-hmm.
Not only two males of color in our house.
Okay.
Which is a very unfortunate thing that I never thought to consider because I've had plenty of friends over before, but I never realized that like it would be an issue, I guess. Like I think that might have been the perception.
You guys are living that fucking that one episode. What's that fucking cartoon called? Oh man, the one about the racism. It was like really, oh man.
The Boondocks. I know this one.
No, fuck off. The superhero show.
Wait, give me a second. Superhero show.
Hang on. Static Shock. That one Static Shock episode where his white friend is his dad's a racist, and then he has to work with the black dad, and they work together. So you guys are like halfway through that character arc. You're almost there. You just got to see it through.
So, I had never considered this because I also realized just now that the only people of color I've ever had over were women. And so I think that might have been a part of it. I don't know. And I didn't think to consider it. I didn't think it would be an issue. I thought that he'd be in a good mood already because it was his birthday party, so on. And like earlier that day.
Yeah, and we even said happy birthday to him.
They said happy birthday. They introduced themselves to him. Like it wasn't even like they were strangers in his house. Like they took the effort to go and introduce themselves to him, which is more than some of my friends have even done. Like because my dad, he just likes to kind of be like not very friendly. And that's okay because eventually he gets over it and it's fine. But like him being like aloof towards my friends has never been like a weird thing to me either. Like I would have never assumed that it would be like caused for me to consider like maybe they need to leave. Because he has been traditionally like not super friendly towards my friends unless they start coming over more and more. And but like not in the way that things ended up occurring, right? And like maybe he's just like ignored them. And honestly that would be better, I think. And then we're all sitting there. My mom's at the table. They're not trespassing because they've introduced themselves. Two people who live in the house have welcomed them and been like, yeah, I'm happy that you're here, so on. So even it's not a trespassing thing. And so my back is to where my dad comes in. Andreas is sitting next to me, Trey's sitting in front of me. and my mom's kind of sitting to like the left of me. So she's not really looking over there. I think she's like talking or something. We're being quiet also. It's not even like we're being loud. And we're just all anxiously waiting for him to finish his work so he can get out before any arguments caused. At some point, I did see my dad come downstairs to go into like his office where the gun safe is kept, but like my sister's room is also attached to the office, and he usually goes to check on her around the time that he went in. And so I assume that he was just checking on her, which would be very normal at that time. And then he went back upstairs. And I'm assuming that must have been whenever he'd gotten the gun in the first place. But none of us noticed and none of us heard it. So he must have been intentional about hiding the fact that he was doing it. And he also never keeps that gun loaded. It's always unloaded because we have kids in the house. And even in the gun safe, it stays unloaded. And so he had to have loaded it in there, like he had to take it upstairs, and then so he comes downstairs, and it's been so long since this happened. He apparently said something beforehand, and then I said something like snarky back, like not looking at him.
Well, I remember exactly what he said. He said it's past midnight when it was like 11:40, because we talked about it after the fact how
Yeah.
we all wanted to correct him, but we did not feel like it was the time.
Yeah, I feel like, but didn't I like say something to him?
I think you and your mom both kind of started like taking the heat a bit. I was not as focused on that at the moment. Like I kind of was like packing up my stuff real fast.
Yeah, because like we didn't see, you were not packing up your stuff real fast. Also, I was
Okay.
looking at you this whole time. We're not gonna. I'm telling my side of the story. We don't need your introduction.
My bad.
And so he says that, and then we hear the gun cock, and we're like, oh fuck. And so we go look at him, and I think my mom's like, what are you doing? And he's like, you guys need to leave. And then he says like Andreas is already like out that bitch. Like he's already dipped.
Andreas is the one with the most sense in that group, 100%. Him and 100%. Monica are like so much more sense than Danny. Danny wouldn't know his ass from his fucking elbow.
And so we're just like, and Andreas is like, Danny, like you need to hurry up. And I don't know if like, I think that the gun shot went off before Andreas was like fully out the door. And so the gun goes off. It shoots the bookshelf to the left of him. He says that it's a misfire. He told the cops whenever we called that it was a misfire. It was not. That shit was intentional as hell. That was intimidation. And because my dad served 22 years in the Army in a combat unit for multiple of those years. He knows how to
you
fire
keep your
a
finger
gun.
out of the trigger well.
A gun.
Yeah.
And I've also shot that gun, and it's not easy to shoot.
Probably a heavy trigger. Yeah. Heavy double action.
It was it has a heavy trigger. And also you have to very intentionally take off the safety. So the fact that the safety wasn't even on for intimidation is crazy.
Wait, do you know the model? I want to get a visual of this.
No. I feel like I did get the information a while back, but I don't remember anymore. And so Danny, of course, takes his sweet time. My mom and I are just sitting there, like, anxious, ready to get out this fucking door. We're trying to leave the house ourselves. And then, like, Andreas has time to, like, pick up a can and throw out his trash and everything. While Danny's still packing up and, like, getting to dip. And then we get to the car, and Trey is, like, just walking also. He's not even, like, running at nothing. He's just, like, walking to the door. And then he walks over to the car. And Andreas is like, get in the car. And I go, Andreas, could you please drive Danny home for me? Because I think I was initially supposed to be driving you home, and Andreas was supposed to be heading back to his house. Yeah. And Andreas is like, yeah, I don't care. Danny, get in the car. And he's like, hurry up. And like, so they leave. Andreas is like zipping out there. I live in like these dark ass woods. And I was surprised at the confidence at which he left. Like, he very much.
I don't think it was confidence.
All of our ears.
I don't think it was confidence at all.
It was fear for sure, and shock. Yeah. All of our ears were like still ringing,
Yep.
Like it was, and it was like only 2 feet away from me. I would say maybe 3. Um,
Yeah.
and so
Yep.
that was a whole entire thing. And in Andreas, in my opinion, we believe that he took his sweet time.
Yeah.
Danny does not believe this. But like literally, Danny was like making sure that everything went in the right pockets still. If this was up to me, I wouldn't even put things back in my bag. I would have just picked up everything in my vicinity that I had and just ran out that door. Like that would have been my response.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. 100%. And I think this speaks to a theory that you and I were both talking about earlier today that Danny was not privy to. So I think we'll spring that on him tomorrow. But we do have to go to the ad break. I want to thank you all very much for sticking with us so far. Give us a special thanks for Gun Lady. I don't care if you're like in your car or like on the bus or on the train or whatever. You need to stand up and give a fucking standing ovation for Gunfather so far. And we all three of us will be back after the ad breaks. We'll be right back.
All right.
This podcast is sponsored by Amanda Redwine, your no-nonsense talk therapist and parent coach. Serving individuals and couples in both Illinois and Florida for counseling/therapy, as well as worldwide for parent coaching. Amanda's specialty is working with teens and young adults, as well as their family systems. Amanda has extensive experience working with youth who identify on the LGBTQIA+ spectrum. She has also done couples work based on a foundation of the Gottman method. She brings a light, no-nonsense approach to treatment that is approachable and empathetic. She is unflappable and makes her clients comfortable from the very beginning. Find out more at www.amandaredwine.com. That's AMANDAREDWINE.com. Thank you again for sponsoring this episode, and back to the show. Hey guys, we're back. So overnight, I kind of realized something, and I feel like I need to bring it to your attention.
Okay.
So, you know how um we called that segment last time the love column?
Yeah.
Love column kind of sounds like a euphemism for a dick.
That is actually really unfortunate. If only, all of the newspapers back in the day would have realized that.
Yeah,
Maybe they even did, and it was part of their marketing ploy. I have no clue.
maybe it was actually.
We always do love a good double meaning,
Yeah, double entendre. Yeah, that is kind of
Mhm.
crazy though. By the way, there's a lizard in this room that I'm recording in. He's like loose. I don't know where he
I
is.
mean, we have a dog in this room.
Yeah, she's
So-
chilling.
Yeah, but it's not like a pet lizard. It's a lizard.
But it could be your pet if you wanted it to be.
No, he's not from the right kind of species. It's just like a boring ass brown lizard. Why would I spend all my time feeding a boring brown lizard?
Well, it's all about perspective,
Have you ever read The Ugly Duckling? Like, this lizard still has meaning in life.
I thought the whole point of the ugly duckling was that it turns into a beautiful swan.
Well, yeah, it's like don't judge a book by its cover. I feel like that's like the main message, though.
No,
Yeah,
but
so like in your world, you might view this lizard as ugly and having no meaning, but perhaps among his lizard species, he's actually a wonderful lizard. You would have no clue.
but in the book, he transformed, or the duckling transforms into a beautiful swan, and it doesn't have value until that happens, because
It does
morals
have
have aesthetic
value.
criteria.
Here's the thing. The point was that he felt like he was an ugly duckling because he was in fact a little baby swan or whatever.
No, I feel
but
like he was just
amongst-
ugly. He just did not have his fit on.
No, the reason why he was the ugly duckling was because he wasn't actually a duckling. He was a different type of bird, which he was comparing himself to the standards of a duckling when he was not a duckling.
Then where are his parents? Why didn't his
well,
parents show up and be like, "Hey, dumbass, you're not a duck, you're a swan, you fucking idiot"?
there are actually a few bird breeds who would put their eggs in like another bird's
Yeah, like the
nest
cuckoo,
for them
yeah.
to be for them to be raised with those.
But are
So
swans
like
like
who are
that,
we
though?
to say? I mean, swans are a little bit temperamental. They're well known for this behavior.
So, I mean, perhaps maybe they're like, ugh, we mate for life anyway. Why do we need to have this kid?
Yeah, they're not staying together for the kid. I guess that makes sense. I see your logic. Does that take us back to the love column, which absolutely we are going to be calling this episode, by the way. I've already named it. I've already uploaded the first part on Patreon, so you don't get any say in this. It's the love column, baby.
The
It's
love
Gunfather's
column
love column.
featuring Gunfather. Gunfather's love column. That's not a that could be a good name as well.
It's a great thing because it refers to her fucking massive girl cock. You know?
Honestly, yeah, I guess that works for me. I'm not complaining.
Yeah, come sit on my love column, baby. You know, like that.
I think that you should try that out. Maybe that's like part of my advice portion of the love column. Is like
You know what?
see what you can do and what sticks.
I think
know?
that it's really all about confidence. I feel like if you go up to a girl, and you say that, if you have enough confidence, you might be able to pull it off. It
Well,
depends
they
on.
might deck you.
It
Like
might.
they,
Yeah. You gotta kind of read the room a little bit, like kind of like figure out who that would work on. There's at least one person it works on, though, right?
Danny, I will give you $20 if on the cruise you
No.
walk up
It's
to
not.
a
It's not
random
enough money.
woman
I'm sorry
and
to tell you, it's
say-
not
But-
enough money.
Also, like on a cruise, that seems like such a horrible idea. Because then, like, if it fails, you're stuck on the ship with them. Like, you can't just leave. Like you normally
Oh.
would be able to. You can just like choose not to go there ever again in case you see him again. But on a cruise, like you're destined to possibly see them again. Like you
No,
are
you
stuck
own
at
that
sea
shit.
with them.
What do you mean? Fucking, why would you run away from that? You own that shit.
No, and then like she'll tell her friends, like, dude, this guy is such a weirdo. If you see him, like, please avoid him. And then suddenly Danny will have like 20 girls that are just like desperately avoiding him.
That sounds like a fucking upgrade from what his normal sex life is like. His normal sex life is every girl in Houston avoids him.
Well, I wouldn't say they avoid me. They just don't think about me really, because if they are
That's
avoiding
so
me and everything,
sad.
thank you.
That's
They
so
would have
sad.
to know
Do
who he
not-
was in the first place. And Houston is a very large city.
It is, yeah, big city, big city.
Is it as large as your love column, Gunfather?
Perhaps comparable. I would need to do more measurements.
You should
really
know how
assess.
big your columns are. If you have columns,
But
you
like
gotta know how big
it
your
depends
columns are.
on it depends on a couple situations. Like because sometimes if you're not like that excited, you may not be at your max level. So like
Oh,
that's
like
why
how
I need to
the-
do a few measurements.
So like how the Eiffel Tower grows 6 inches every summer.
Yeah, due to expansion. That's
Yeah.
a good point.
Yeah. Which we all know is, of course, say it with me, Danny, fucking huge.
Okay, sure, yeah. Oh wait, wait. Are you talking
I
about
said
the
say
Eiffel
it
Tower?
with me.
Are you saying
the
6 inches is?
Yeah, the 6 inches is, of course, fucking huge, right, Danny?
I feel like
I think it's about average actually.
I think it depends on like
Average for
comparing it
towers
to, I
growing in the
suppose.
summer? That's crazy.
Yeah, in that case, sure. Yeah, that's probably, on the higher end,
Danny, you don't want fucking. I guess with the benefit of hindsight. No. You do want 6 inches to be huge because that's the difference between you and 5 feet. So fucking, you should want 5'6" to be a massive difference, Danny.
I think that um
It's at least, I mean, here's the thing too. I'm just thinking about that one lyric where it's like, I hope my dick get big as big as the Eiffel Tower or whatever.
yeah.
Like, do you think that he knows about the summer expansion? Like, could he have
Is
put
he
like
missing
a
out
little
on 6 inches?
annotation? Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Like now I'm concerned. Does he know this information? Is he aware that if he just put like a caveat on the lyric about it being during the summertime, he could be even bigger.
I mean, you know what? At that point, do you think you're getting diminishing returns?
I mean,
As a woman who presumably has sex with men that have penises, I feel like you would be the expert that if his dick was the size of the Eiffel Tower, even the most dedicated of whores could not take that much of penis,
I
right?
do think that there's like it's like a range thing, right? You want to fall within a certain range, but there's also like an upper end that's also bad, you know? So it's like, you know, like you gotta fall within the range. I think the range depends on the person though. Some people
Yeah.
have like
But yeah, some people have like creative vaginas. Yes, of course. But I'm saying
right.
even if your vagina could take a fucking horse dick, like if it's Eiffel Tower sized, an extra 6 inches isn't gonna help much.
Yeah, I would say it would be probably difficult to have sex with the Eiffel
Well, Danny,
Tower.
I'm
I've
not
never thought about
asking
it too much
you.
though.
I'm not
No
asking
one's
you.
married the Eiffel Tower before.
I don't know
That
if that's
is
a legal
true.
marriage though.
I mean, it happened though.
Yeah,
To
but
be
like
fair, though, also in France, in order for you to get married, you have to have a separate city hall ceremony that like isn't actually a wedding, and then you have to go and have your wedding, your actual one separately, because they have such an aggressive um, separation between church and state
Yes.
that marriages are not seen as a like sacred like religious act and instead are fully seen as like a contractual thing that you agree to at city hall.
Yes. And you're
um
allowed to marry a dead person in France.
Look at that. I mean,
Which dead
imagine like
person
your
would you
fiance
marry?
dies
how
before
would they
you could
say
marry them, and then
yeah, how would
you
they
get
say
to
I
marry
do
them in
though?
death.
Right, that would
Maybe they can like sign off before they die that they'll marry you.
I don't think so. I think all the cases that I've heard of people marrying dead people is they were dead before they even met.
I mean, if I was gonna marry a dead person,
there's probably, you know, some really attractive, you know, dead people out there, you know what
Danny,
I mean?
as your legal
yeah,
expert, as your lawyer, I am going to have to advise you to stop that sentence right where you're at, buddy. Right there where
I
you're at.
I'm gonna look up dead men worth marrying.
there have been attractive people that have died, I would say, right?
Oh no, you know what I'm thinking about? Do you remember Anna Nicole Smith, who married that like really old man,
Yes.
and like they actually had like a really lovely relationship.
Yeah.
Um, and then I don't even think she ended up getting his money because his kids fought against it like so hard, even though they had a legitimate marriage. She was with him for a long time. Um, and I think that I would probably marry that man because he was clearly rich enough to cause a fuss, and he was clearly kind enough to be happy just marrying a beautiful woman.
Well, I mean, I feel like anyone would be happy marrying a beautiful woman. I feel like even a straight woman would be happy marrying a beautiful woman.
I mean, yeah, I would
Because
have
then they have
loved.
someone to bitch about, or bitch
I
about
wonder if I
and
could
bitch
have.
with for like all the time.
I I would have loved to marry Anna Nicole Smith. She's also dead, so
Yeah.
it works within this area. She seems like she was a lovely lady. So, and she's also from Houston, Texas. So I would have had a chance to meet her, perhaps. It's
If you
not that
were
crazy.
if you were like 10 years older maybe, and then I think it would still be her grooming you like quite extensively.
I'd be
well,
okay with that.
you know, the good thing is, right, that you know, we can marry dead people is what we found out, right? And now
We just have to go to France and maybe become French citizens.
okay, all right. So like now that we like Gunfather and I are both of like I think marriage age, and you know there's lots of dead people to choose from. So
I don't remember being of marrying age.
well, if you wanted to, is what I'm saying. Like
This is
Every
true.
age
It
is a
would be
marrying
illegal.
age. You
yeah,
just have to try harder.
Well, here's the thing too. I took 3 semesters of French. So like maybe I could take the French citizenship test. Like maybe I could pull it off.
do you think that ghosts talk in like their native language. You know what I mean, right? So like,
I would think so.
So
I mean, but maybe like being dead gives you a lot of time to learn other languages.
yeah,
They
'cause,
have
if
like
we were,
death Duolingo.
yeah, if we were like to commune with like a dead French person, would we be
Mhm.
able to even like talk to them? You know?
I mean, it depends, I think, because the easiest way to learn a language is to be like fully integrated into the community. So I imagine that if you were dead and you were a ghost, you could kind of immerse yourself into whatever community you wanted as long as you weren't like trapped in a certain location.
Well, I think
Because you know
that's
how
the
some
thing with
ghosts they get
ghosts.
trapped in certain locations, but other ghosts perhaps maybe just get to wander about freely and we have no clue.
Don't
And
all ghosts get
so
trapped in a location though?
I don't know. I don't know the logistics of being a ghost.
Like, if
Do we need to
If
kill
anyone
you
would
to
like to
find
talk
out?
to one for me,
are there like multiple
because I'm personally scared of them.
different afterlives? Like, there's like a French afterlife, and if you die in
Oh.
There
France,
is a French afterlife. It's called hell.
yeah, and if you're like, and if you're French or you die in France, like you are stuck in French afterlife, you know. So you
Okay.
Again,
with other French people.
But here's the thing. But there are so many tourists in France that there is a chance that they would get to interact with a lot of Americans, like Europeans in general, of all different
So
types.
so now we need to figure out like who, like what are like the edge cases on who gets to go to the French afterlife? You know, like is it only native French people? Do tourists that die in France like on a trip?
Oh, that would suck. Imagine you're just like an American tourist and you die in France and then you get stuck there as a ghost and you're just sitting there never understanding what these people are saying.
Oh, that sucks.
imagine
Yeah.
going to France as a tourist. That like you just described the worst case scenario right there. Why'd you have to build onto it?
Imagine if, like, just the idea of getting trapped there and that whole entire process. Like, imagine you're being haunted by a ghost and they're just speaking a different language at you. Like, you're sitting there and you're thinking that they're saying like evil things to you. And in fact, they're just being like, hey, how are you? Like, I kind of want to have a friend.
You know what? I think this probably has happened before. You know, like whenever like people build houses on like burial grounds of like old like native people. You know, that's probably what happens to them. You know, like they have like the native people talking to them in languages they don't
Yeah, and they
get.
think that like they're doing some demonic stuff, and in fact, they're just like trying to get a little bit of interaction.
Yeah, like imagine. Well, if it's a burial ground, usually there's a lot of those, right? Like there's a lot of dead people there. So like they're just chilling with their fellow dead people, right?
This is true, but like, what if they were like an outcast? Like, what if no one liked them?
So you
Well,
build your
What if
house on
they
top
were
of
the
like
ugly
the
duckling?
outcasts.
What if
Why
they
are
were
we
the ugly
assuming?
duckling?
Why are we
Okay, I
assuming
like
that if
full
nobody
circle.
liked them in life, that someone would like them in death?
Well, maybe they were just like their culture didn't really fit with who they were as a person. That happens a lot. Like, especially in like those kind of older cultures, they used to be very strict about different, like them being different.
I guess.
Like
I
all
mean,
the witches, whenever in fact they weren't even witches, they just like their community just didn't like them as people.
I mean, if I didn't like someone as a person, I would want to. I guess they didn't burn anyone at Salem, did they? No, they
No, they did.
no,
They
they didn't.
definitely did.
No one was burned at Salem. There were hangings,
Okay.
dying in prison, and one guy got crushed to death by rocks.
Didn't
But
they used to try and drown them too?
yes, and if it was very counterproductive because like if you drowned, you weren't a witch.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you didn't drown, then you were a witch. Then you got burned instead.
Yeah. So it's like, well, you
Yeah, because
know,
everybody knows that witches are immune to water, but not immune to fire.
yeah, they're like grass type Pokemon, you know?
But like,
Yeah.
I bet
That's
that
why they're
there were
green.
other.
It all makes sense now.
I bet that the Salem witch trials, like we know them for being in Salem, but I'm sure that there are witch trials happening all over. Salem
yeah.
just like got the heat for it. Like they got like the buzz.
It was
Yeah.
just the one
'Cause-
time it happened here because America isn't backwards like those fucking Euro trash.
I mean, we've been pretty backwards for quite some time.
Well, it depends on what the topic of conversation is.
The
Yeah.
separation of church and state. England
Well, we've kind
literally
of
has
failed
a
at
state
that.
church.
I'm going to. What was I going to look up? Oh, when was gay marriage legalized in France?
Hey, Gay marriage was legalized in Switzerland like this decade. So
Yeah,
I
it's
mean, it was also in our country, like maybe not this decade, but within the past
13 years
two.
ago.
Yeah, so
Oh
apparently it
no,
was fully legalized in
Obergefell.
the 2013, and France became the 14th country to legalize gay marriage. What was the first?
when was it legal to marry dead people though?
Always.
Always?
So apparently it was the Netherlands in 2001.
See, if everyone was in the 2000s, if everyone waited until the 2000s, then they can't really blame us for waiting an extra 14 years after that. Like, because we
I
all
mean,
fucked up. Every country fucked up.
yeah, I to be fair though, I still in my mind I just think it's so absurd. I'm always like it's just like a legal contract. Like you could still be domestic partners just fine apparently, but
They just don't want them getting any form of tax benefits. I know because my parents got married before it was legalized in their state. So,
yeah, I mean my grandma, she got married before it was legal. Um and so it was like they would say that they were married and they had a whole ceremony and stuff, but they weren't actually
yeah, they had to
married.
actually go to a different state and like perform the thing and then actually get it on the license in the other state. And then it took like forever for our state because we lived in Pennsylvania at the time to actually recognize it. It was really shitty. But, what can you
Yeah.
do?
Yeah, no, this was my grandma got married in like the 90s. So before it was like even legalized anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very
You
cute,
must
very
have
sweet.
how did
Back when
she
the world was
figure
black and
out
white.
that how did she I suppose she had a similar thing to my mom where like she had a child with someone before she realized, hang
No,
on.
my grandma's bisexual.
Oh, word.
So like she was married to 3 men, and then they all failed, and then she married a woman, and then that failed, and then she got married again to a man, and then they got divorced. That was who I considered my grandpa, even though we weren't like biologically related to him at all. All 3 of her kids have different dads. And then the 4th man that she married wasn't even anyone's dad. He was just some guy.
Damn. I don't think the gay marriage thing was the issue for your grandma. I think your grandma just needs to fucking stop getting married, period. I don't
Oh,
think marriage is for
100%.
her. Yeah.
I think that she's given up on it. I mean, my grandma's kind of a crazy lady, so I'm surprised anyone wanted to marry her in the first place.
That's crazy
But
work. That's
Some people like
crazy
first
work to
ladies,
say that.
this is true.
That's
I feel
My
like
grandma's not a good woman, so I don't feel
there's like
bad
a
about
level
it.
of crazy that I feel like, is almost you kind of like justify and like you think is acceptable.
Yeah.
Um,
But she
but
just
like
like went past it even.
yeah,
Wait,
but like
is she
the people that she was with, like they didn't see it
They
like
probably
that.
just thought it was sexy or something. I don't know.
Exactly, yeah.
is she on your mom's side or your dad's side?
On my
This
mom's side.
Wow, okay, so you've got crazy on both
Yeah.
sides of the fucking family tree.
Well, my dad is also the one that we reference is actually my stepdad.
Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. So maybe
Yeah.
your mom is searching for that kind of crazy that she's missing, you know what I mean?
I'm,
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, my mom's also been married 3 times.
I don't think
So,
marriage is in the cards for maybe like mother like daughter. Hopefully that skipped a generation in you.
no. I've planned on just to be fair. Okay, so she was married 3 times before the age of 25.
Jesus
So,
Lord.
cuz like she married my biological dad whenever she got pregnant with me unintentionally. And then they decided that they weren't going to work out. My dad decided he didn't want to be like a dad, which I
Mhm.
respected honestly. Like he was like, I don't think I'm going to be a good one. I'm going to back out. And I was like, okay, sounds good to me. And then the second marriage was with this guy that she was dating, and his ex-wife had been like, I don't want my daughter around your girlfriend, because I just think like that's confusing for her. Like she's just a girlfriend. And his daughter had some like medical issues that my mom like really helped them out with and was
Mhm.
like very supportive about. So like my mom had basically become this girl's like main caretaker. to make sure that she was, doing all the things that she had to do. And so my mom decided that it was best for his daughter if they just got married.
Mhm.
So that way she could stay in the girl's life, um, and help take care of her. But that marriage only lasted for about a year. And it was really just because they were like, they wanted to be able to like date and like take care of this kid together, but like they weren't really legit married type of thing. Like it
Yeah.
was a legit marriage on paper, but it was more just like a matter of circumstance. Um, and then they split up after a year because like they just didn't work. And the daughter got better, like all the stuff got better anyway. So my mom felt okay leaving.
Mhm.
And then a year or two later, she got married to my stepdad after like 8 months of dating.
How old were you when this
Um,
happened?
Whenever my stepdad and my mom got married, like the dad that I reference as my dad,
Yeah.
I was 5.
I see. I see.
Yeah, so this was all very quick.
That is a
Um,
very quick turnaround.
yeah, but I respect it, honestly. She knew what she wanted, I guess. So as long as I make it past like 25 without 3 marriages, like I think I'm winning.
You've got 3 years left to get 3 marriages in. I think you can do it.
I don't think that I think I'd like to just have one marriage.
I think
Um,
people don't
Wouldn't we
understand
all?
the
Wouldn't
level
we
of
fucking
commitment that
all?
marriage, I think, is and like should be, taken as.
yeah,
People think like,
exactly.
oh, let's just get married, like it's like, just like
Yeah.
it's like something casual. I feel like marriage is supposed to be like a one-time thing, but people don't see it that way.
I just think it's also more convenient if it's just a one-time thing. Like, because
Well,
here's what I'm
yeah,
thinking. Like, if I were to get married and then eventually end up getting divorced, I don't think that I would get married again. Unless, like, there was some, like, purpose to it that would actually, like, serve everyone involved type of thing.
well, I think that it's also a thing where
Because, like, my coworker did that.
if
Like,
you're older, I think that there is, uh, I guess, more of a reason to get married in a shorter time span of knowing somebody, right?
yeah.
That makes sense, right? It's like, okay, you already have your life figured out. You'll know what you want a little bit quicker, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and your time is running out, you know?
Yeah, yeah, that as well, right? But like at 25 to like have that little time in between each marriage, it feels like they didn't fully think about it to the level that they probably should have,
Yeah, no, those were very much, my mom very much got married conveniently type of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And
So,
that's not really how it's supposed to be, right?
well, and
Well,
like
to
my
be
parents were
fair,
actually in love whenever they got married. They just happened, like my dad got deployed twice and then came back with PTSD. And he was just like never the same again. But they were still married. They still shared everything, all this stuff. And then whenever she tried to serve him divorce papers, he just refused. And so now they're still married.
That's not how that's supposed to work either, though.
Oh, when I know. She was just like, I don't think I'm dedicated enough to the cause to sit there and fight with you over getting divorce papers signed. So let's just stay together. And then they end up like working things out and whatever. And now they just kind of like don't really like each other, but they're still married.
yeah, they
Yes, of
just
course.
tolerate each other, and yeah. All right,
Yeah.
fair enough. Fair
I
enough,
mean,
I
I
suppose.
tolerate him as well. So like I'm okay with that. Like he makes a lot of money.
That
I
is true.
it's
I feel like that's why your mom tolerates him too. Right?
100%.
Yeah, like mother, like daughter. Yeah. So, you know what? Fair enough. Fair enough. I feel like this has been very productive, and now it's time for everyone's favorite segment. Danny, do you know what segment that is?
well,
Actually, no. Fuck you. Shut up. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. Shut up.
I'm assuming this is going to be the red button.
okay,
Good
so it's
job,
like
gold star. I didn't even have to ask. I was about to ask, but you beat me to it. Good job. Gold fucking
Thank
star.
you. I'm an overachiever.
yes, it's a segment that we invented. We created on our own.
And
No
an
prior
overachiever
inspiration.
and an
Okay.
underperformer. Here we
Yeah,
go.
yeah, of course.
All right, let's do it. Obviously it has to tie into what we were talking about. So here we go. Are
Yes,
you guys
part
ready?
number.
Are you guys
I'm
ready?
ready. Yeah.
I don't think
Sure.
you're ready. I don't think you're ready actually. Um
Well, as I've stated, I'm an overachiever, so I'm always ready.
okay. All right. Um you find the partner of your dreams You have like the dream wedding. It's beautiful. It's the most amazing wedding you ever had. But they're dead. Your partner is dead. It's a dead body.
Well, like, you know, I feel like this it's an interesting question, right?
How does
Because
the
if I
honeymoon
press
situation work?
if I press the button, they will be the partner of my dreams. So like technically, you know, I feel like them being dead would have to also be the partner of my dreams, right?
Are they
Yes.
secretly a ghost that speaks my language?
You
Like,
get,
is there a
let's say
ghost attached to them?
you get 1 night a year of Ghost.
Yeah,
It's
on
like,
Dia de los Muertos, of course.
yeah,
You
Okay.
watched
it's
Coco
like,
before.
yeah. It's like Coco. Um,
Honestly, no, I think I would do it. Like, this sounds like such a convenient marriage to have.
Uh,
Like, because it doesn't say anything about the fact that I have to be faithful, nothing.
no,
Like,
you have to be faithful. You have to be till in sickness and in health, till death
till
does us
death
part.
do.
No
Well,
fucking other
But
bitches.
well, actually, death already did kind of.
but like, what if they're into that? Like,
Is
what
that
if
the
the
partner of
ghost
your
has told
dreams?
me? Yeah, maybe the partner of my dreams is a ghost who's like, yeah, do whatever makes you happy, girl.
But is that the
Do
partner
they
of your
have
dreams?
do they have a significant I mean, maybe they are. I don't
No, I'm
know.
saying they're the partner of your dreams, but they're dead.
I understand.
So,
And
So
like,
maybe the partner of
everything
my
except the dead
dreams.
part is
o-
true.
okay, but like are they the partner of my dreams because they're dead, or
No,
they just
but
happen to?
in spite
Okay,
of
so
them being dead,
okay, in spite of them. Okay,
not
so
because
They're the
of.
part of my dreams, and in spite of them being dead, the partner of my dreams in that situation would would definitely be like, whatever you need, I love you.
I'm not saying in that situation. I'm saying in general partner of your dreams, but then they are dead. They're a
well,
dead
I
body who you've never met.
here's the issue with that though, right? I feel like the partner of my dreams, like a lot of the aspects that make them the partner of my dreams, like kind of require them being alive, and you see
Like
that.
they would be
Yeah,
the partner
that's
of your
true.
dreams, except
But
they're
yeah, they
dead.
would
But like,
be.
how do I know that they are the partner of my dreams? Like, did I speak to them one time during that singular night a
Like
year?
I guess you just really just knew them as a
No,
person,
you
or the
see their
person that they
dead
could have
body
been.
and you just know.
Like
Honestly,
you would have
if
you
I've
just
reached
know.
that point in life where I look at a dead body and I go, I just know this is the love of my life, I may as well just marry
No, you
them.
know that it would have been the love of your life
No, but
if
like
they were
if I
alive.
look at their dead body and I just feel like a pull to them, like I must know. I think I'm going for this marriage. Actually, like I think I'm pressing the button. I think I'm going for it. If I've reached that point in life where I'm looking at a dead body and going, "You're the one," like I'm too far gone.
I
I
couldn't do
think
it. I couldn't do it.
I think that like this is one of those things where I, as the idealist, I think we just keep searching. We'll find another partner of our
Someone
dreams.
who's
Well,
good enough.
so XKCD
Yeah, you
actually
know.
wrote a comic about this, right? So XKCD wrote a comic about um love at first sight, right?
Was that her that walked in, or was it Breeze? Bree didn't come in?
What? Oh geez. All right. So I guess Danny's having an issue. Hang on. We'll just wait here until they come back. Until they come back, we're gonna wait here for a moment. But
Okay, I'm
yes.
back.
We're
Okay.
both.
So XKCD wrote a comic about soulmates, right? Um, and it's like, uh, if you have one randomly assigned soulmate, there have been about 100 billion humans that have ever lived, right?
Uh huh.
So
Yeah.
93%, or like 93% of your potential soulmates are dead, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
And you, like that, you know your soulmate from with love at first sight, right? But
Mhm.
like, and you just like like
Yeah.
you're not going, like, if statistically speaking, if that was true, no one would find it because you actually meet about 80,000. The average person meets about 80,000 unique humans in their lifetime, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we say for heterosexuals, 40,000 uh, of the opposite sex, right? Um, maybe I think it's 40,001 because it's like just barely like 0.1% more males than females on the planet. But like
Okay.
you meet 41,000 men in your life, right? For Gunfather's sake, of course.
Well, I'm
Right.
not heterosexual, so
Well, you're bisexual, so that both opens and contracts a little bit. But
okay.
like 40,000 people again. Let's just leave the number at 40K, right? Of like 40,000 potential partners, even if we just say that like your soulmate is alive while you're alive and is within a decent age gap of you, right? Like of those like 40,000 people, like that's 40,000 out of 7 billion, right? So
Mhm.
like the odds of you finding like the perfect person are already low. And so if your perfect person is a human corpse, right? Like the vast majority of people don't meet their soulmates and they're happy enough as is. So I just wouldn't do it.
I
I mean, you got very technical with it, but that works for me too. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I feel like I reached my conclusion that if I'm so far gone that I'm thinking a dead body is my soulmate, okay, fine. I'll go for it. I'll bite. Who cares?
I'm just wondering how the honeymoon situation would be because it feels like it's a very expensive thing to bring a dead body with you.
Well, the person of my dreams would have a lot of money in their estate.
But their estate
So
would
you
have already
gain
been
it.
divvied up.
No.
I'm talking like
The
dead
person
for
of
at
my
least a year.
dreams, the person of my dreams, they have no family.
Is that true for living person of your
She
dreams as well?
she actually is married to a pharaoh, and they got buried with all their riches. So that's how she gets it.
Well, unfortunately, there's not a lot of if Egyptian mummy pharaohs left. We
No,
found
it's like a
most of
modern
them.
day pharaoh, like a modern day pharaoh.
They don't have those anymore. I'm sorry.
I I think you can put
I
whatever
hate to
title you want
disappoint
on your
you,
tombstone.
Gunfather, but you're not going to find a modern day pharaoh like Danny has prescribed as
One can
your
dream.
person.
One game.
One can dream, and I'm in a this is my dream person, so therefore I'm dreaming.
I mean, as Aerosmith said, dream on. And that's how we're going to end the episode. Fucking beautiful ending. Good job, Kale. 10 out of 10. God, you're so fucking amazing. Jesus Christ. How did you get to be so amazing? How can I be
I
like
think
you?
that you're gonna have to enjoy your 6 inches after this call because you seem to be dick riding yourself.
I mean, who said it's 6 inches? I think maybe 6 inches is too massive. You know what I mean? It's like really just like the it's huge. It's a huge difference, right? You know?
Well,
It might be too
enjoy
much to enjoy. You
and
know what I mean?
enjoy whatever you do get. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Well,
This was lovely.
Oh,
yeah,
we
let's
have to
wrap
do
it
the
up
outro.
here.
We have to do the outro. You don't get to say this is lovely yet. Hang on.
Okay.
You do not have free speech on this podcast.
Damn, not my rights being taken away by men.
I mean, you're in Texas. Why are you not used to that?
You're right.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly. Come on,
fine.
get on that. But yeah, we want to thank all of you for listening this far into the episode. If you want to support us, you can head on over to Patreon. You can hear part one of the next episode, early. So as soon as it's done being edited, so you would have got to hear it Sunday morning instead of Tuesday morning. That's like 2 whole days. Hey, that's great. That's like 48 hours. But if you join our $5 tier, not only do you get the whole episode early and ad free, you also get access to all of our movie commentaries. I made Danny watch Revenge of the Sith, and he was like, "Oh my god, this is hype city. I'm a Star Wars fan now. This is the best movie I've ever seen. I'm literally shaking and coming." because
Not a real quote. Not a real quote.
he was stroking
Fake
his
quote.
shit the whole time. He was stroking
Fake
his
quote.
shit the whole
On
time.
call with you. That's crazy.
I mean, I did it when we watched Robots, so he got to do it during Revenge of the Sith. It's okay.
I feel like that's sexual assault, actually.
It's not sexual assault. It's sexual
Of
harassment.
course a man would. Of course a man would. Okay.
Why are you assuming my fucking pronouns and gender?
Sorry about that. We need
Exact-
to wrap it up. Let's get going.
Exactly. But yeah, patreon.com/IIHS podcast. Join the $5 tier. It's really cool. You get a 7-day free trial of it. You also get a discount code for all of our merch, and we've got a new merch line coming up because what is it? Next week we'll be in Alaska. Yeah. Holy shit. So it's this podcast episode. We'll have one for next Tuesday, but then after that we will be skipping a week because we'll be in Alaska, and you'll get to hear all about that. We'll have a little video and everything. It'll be awesome. You get to see all the bullshit we get up to. But yeah, so patreon.com/IIHS podcast. Head over there. It's gonna be great. We also are on social media. We are at IIHS podcast on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, and YouTube. We try and have these episodes up on YouTube the same day. Yeah, we try. Sometimes we have a little oopsie, and that's okay. You know, sometimes we make a little mistake, but we're just human, okay? So don't hold it against us, please. You know, I don't hold your worst mistakes against you, okay? Don't hold mine against me, okay? Love you. Thank you. My name is Kale. I've been incredibly influential.
And I have been Danny, and I've been highly successful. And thank you to our guest,
Yes.
Gunfather, who has already walked away. Busy woman she is.
Right. Yep. Everybody say bye-bye, Gunfather. Goodbye.